Jai Gurudev, Day 8, Yagyopaveet and Gayatri. Shikha and Sutra symbols of Hindu Dharma. There are two symbols of Hindu Dharma. One is Shikha, distinctive lock of hair on the crown of the head, and the other is Sutra. Sutra means Yagyopaveet or sacred thread. Just as in the context of devotion for one's own country, there is a national flag. So also Shikha is a flag of divine culture on the fortress of human brain. Religious communities have their respective flags. The idol of Lord Shiva can be installed merely by placing a circular stone on a platform. Shikha is like a banner of Gayatri mantra installed on the top of the head, so that it is always kept in mind that entry of evil thoughts is banned in the area and only righteous thoughts are welcomed. In Hindu Dharma, Mundan, in which the hair on the head of a child is shaved, is regarded as an important ceremony. In fact, this is a celebration of installation of Shikha, which is formed by removing other hair on the head. Human body is regarded as a temple on which Shikha is established like a banner. Yagyopaveet, an image of Gayatri. Yagyopaveet is also called Brahma Sutra. Thread is also called Sutra. The authors of Vyakaran, Darshan, religious scriptures, and several other treatises have tried to express their purport in very brief, concise sentences in Sanskrit. Detailed commentaries and annotations have been written on these sutras which explain the meanings underlying them. Although there are no letters in Brahma Sutra, much has been indicated with the help of images, marks, signs, pictures, etc. The Brahma Sutras of Yagyopaveet also, even without speech and script, incorporate with them meanings of deep importance. Gayatri is known as Guru Mantra. Yagyopaveet ceremony is performed with the chanting of Gayatri Mantra and other Ved mantras. It is as much necessary for a Dvij to know Gayatri as it is to put on Yagyopaveet. Gayatri and Yagyopaveet constitute one pair, as do the words Lakshmi Narayan, Sita Ram, Radhe Shyam, Prakriti Brahma, Gauri Shankar. Their uniform forms one single unit. Just as husband and wife living together constitute a family, Dvijta is a union of Gayatri and Yagyopaveet. Yagyopaveet is Sutra and Gayatri is interpretation. They are interlinked. There are 3 threads in Yagyopaveet. So-called Gayatri has 3 phases. The first phase is Tassa Vitur Varenyam. Second is Bhargo Divasya Dhimahi. And third one is Dhiyo Yonaha Prachodayat. To understand the principles underlying 3 threads of Yagyopaveet, one should thoroughly understand the aforesaid 3 phases of Gayatri. There are 3 granthis, knots, and 1 Brahma Granthi in Yagyopaveet. In Gayatri, there are 3 Vyaharitis, namely Buha, Bhuva, Swaha, and 1 Pranav, Om, Onkar, Om, and 3 Vyaharitis of Gayatri Mantra symbolize respectively the Brahma Granthi and 3 knots of Yagyopaveet. The first, second, and third phases of Gayatri symbolize the first, second, and third threads of Yagyopaveet respectively. Now let us examine in detail what is the meaning and philosophy underlying this interpretation of Gayatri and Yagyopaveet. The message of Pranav is that God pervades all living beings, and so a sadhak should devote himself selflessly and quietly in the service of humanity. Bhuha implies that the human body is just a transient instrument. A seeker of truth should not get attached to it, but should enhance his inner spiritual awareness, pursue the righteous path, and do selfless service. Bhuva means a person who struggles valiantly against evils attains self-realization. He alone is wise who follows high ideals with pure means. Swaha means that truth should be pursued through discriminating wisdom and pure intellect, and thus inspire others by example to lead a life of austerity, devotion, self inquiry, self restraint, and sacrifice. This, in short, is the fourfold duty of a person who puts on a Yajñopavid. He has to develop his capabilities, has to be generous, and utilize his talents in the service of others. Thus alone can he attain peace and happiness for himself and help others to attain these. According to Gayatri Gita, 9 fibers of Yajñopavid represent 9 virtues which are important and precious as gems. These virtues are the signs of life, awakening of inner hidden energies, superiority, purity, divine insight, righteousness, wisdom, self-control, and service. By having knowledge of the signs of life, man understands the mystery behind birth and death. He has no fear of death and is always fearless. He has no attachment to or craving for worldly object. He thus escapes from the pendulum like swings of up and down of life and created by the illusionary play of dualities of success and failure, pleasure and pain, birth and death, from which ignorant people are perpetually tormented. A person who is able to awaken his dormant energies becomes more and more healthy, learned, wise, generous, cooperative, and respectable as the inner energies gain prominence in his soul. A weak person is often a victim of bad habits, destiny, and of wicked persons who are stronger than him. But a strong and noble person himself enjoys life and extends a helping hand to those weaker to him. Injustice flourishes when there are no checks and balances in the exercise of power. Acquisition of power by persons of nobility of character acts as an antidote to this unbridled and evil exercise of power by those who are evil-minded tyrants. Superiority does not lie in power and pelf, but in the richness of high ideals and aims and feeling of compassion, kindness, sharing, and caring. Persons who possess only power lack inner refinement and balance, are crude, fickle-minded, mean, and disturbed. They live lives of utmost inferiority. On the other hand, persons of high thinking, generosity of nature, and noble actions lead lives of superior quality, even if they are not materially affluent. It is this aristocracy of spiritual richness that give unshakable peace and unalloyed happiness. Purity is true beauty. Not only human beings, but even animals, birds, insects, and worms like beauty. Wherever there is impurity, ugliness is bound to be there, and nobody would like to stay there. A person having impurities in his body is bound to be weak and sick. Then, what to say of a person whose mind, intellect, and inner self are full of dross? He is no better than an animal or devil. The only way to rise above these infirmities is to cultivate all-round purity. One who's pure internally as well as externally, whose means of livelihood, ideology, body, speech, dress, residence, and other materials of use are clean and pure, will be happy, cheerful, sweet-tempered, and contented. Divine insight means establishing relation with divine qualities of the world. Like attracts like. Persons having an outlook of seeing goodness in the world find good persons all around them. If we pay attention to goodness, service mindedness, cooperation, and good deeds done by others, we will find that by and large there is far more good in the world than evil. To a person with a perverted mind, all objects and persons will appear perverse. Likewise, one who looks with eyes of love and understanding will find the same qualities reflected back from all around. He will discover that the world is multi-hued, beautiful, and sweet-smelling garden of God. We should inculcate good habits, good qualities, and righteousness within us. Modesty, politeness, courtesy, sweetness in speech, generosity, service, cooperation, honesty, punctuality, orderliness, thrift, dutifulness, vigilance, sense of glad humor, patience, courage, bravery, enthusiasm are all divine qualities. It is also virtuous to be proficient in music, literature, arts, crafts, business, industry, education, etc. Persons having such qualities undoubtedly lead a happy life. Wisdom, Vivek, is like a spiritual searchlight by which a person can distinguish between truth and falsehood, proper and improper gains and loss. Innumerable mutually contradictory beliefs, conventions, ideologies are prevalent in this world, and each of them has some basis and is linked with the name of some great personage. Under such circumstances, it's difficult to decide what should or should not be accepted. Righteous wisdom alone can decide what is genuinely acceptable, keeping in view the factors of place, time, circumstances, utility, and public good. He who can intuitively and spontaneously take proper decisions will attain perennial happiness and peace. The basic cause of most of the conflicts, miseries, sins, and unhappiness in the world is evil-mindedness, illusion, and ignorance. A person endowed with wisdom escapes from all these snares. To maintain proper balance of the life force, thinking capacity, sex desire, labor, etc., it is known as self-control, Sanyam. These natural urges and drives should be neither suppressed nor allowed unbridled indulgence. Human body is a powerhouse of wide ranges of energy. Extraordinary service can be achieved and all-round progress can be made if these energies are wisely channelized. To help people help themselves is one of the greatest services one can render. Ordinarily, spending time in other-centered activities, giving money in charity, or extending physical or mental help are deemed as acts of service. None bothers to see whether or not such service has led to self-sufficiency, inspiration, and awakening. Generally, such a service makes persons so served, lazy, and dependent on others and on destiny, and is harmful in the long run. Service should be rendered in such a way that it may accelerate enthusiasm, resourcefulness, and self-reliance. It is a sacred service to make one's own life, self, others, and the world at large more prosperous, beautiful, and happy.